Hello, everyone, and welcome to the latest edition of the Laughing Place TV Club. A day late due to our friends at Disney Parks. So it's going to be a little confusing because we're going to talk about episodes that are like a week old, even though they're just new episodes today. So
only two, I think, but yeah.
What's that?
I think it's only two of them.
I can think of two, yes.
Yep.
But I don't know, who wants to start today? Oh, I should introduce y'all. We got Tony.
Hello.
Becca.
Hi.
Kyle.
Hello.
And me, Reggie.
I can go first, or Becca.
Okay, Kyle.
Go for it.
Well, I watched the Goldbergs this week, which has the distinction of sadly being the last one to feature George Segal as Pops. Even more unfortunate, he didn't have a huge role in this episode. He hasn't had a bunch of big storylines as of late. But he had some fun appearances in recreating the AHA video for Take On Me with Adam and Beverly. But the main crux of this episode is almost as though they knew that they were going to be premiering right before Home Economics this week. This episode was a lot about dynamics with money. So Adam's girlfriend, Bria, is concerned that she doesn't think that Adam really gets her because she has to work for a living. She works at an ice cream shop and he's spoiled in her eyes. So we see him get a job at said ice cream parlor with her, and just how he suddenly turns and he thinks he's like in a Bruce Springsteen song or whatever, wearing work shirts and just talking about how hard he's working when he's not doing all that much. And while that's going on, if you missed the last couple episodes, Barry and Jeff's sister are now dating, or whatever they're calling it. And so Jeff and Erica, thank you, are trying to get away from them. So they go camping, but then Barry and Jeff's sister end up joining them, and they are competing to see who's the better couple. And it's all fun and games until Erica starts to realize that Jeff is always just very accommodating to her, and that he doesn't get to be himself or do the things he wants to do. And so this episode ends with them taking a break. Yeah. But then as you have that sad outro, they played a sad version of Take On Me, and you have them driving back, and
is the one from Deadpool 2?
Yes.
Okay.
What the future is going to hold for them. Then we got a little tribute to George Segal with some of his best clips as Pops and an in remembrance thing. So we don't know what they're going to do as far as what they'll do with the character from here on out, but it was a nice little send off, and I thought it was a pretty good episode. Obviously a bit of a downer in places, but Tony.
I've been on a news radio kick lately, and was this the season finale for Goldbergs?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Because I've been on a news radio kick, and there was that Phil Hartman was a primary character on it, and then when they came back, that was after that whole incident occurred. And I wanted to know if they would do something kind of similar, like he had a heart attack and passed on, and like a tribute episode solely for Pops.
They might do that, I think, coming in the future. I think this was just the last one he filmed. They didn't. Right. Yeah. So I imagine at some point they're going to address it because they have to. I mean, I think, but I don't know, how many episodes they filmed before he passed between this, and where they are in the shooting schedule, or how long it's going to take them to come up with the story they want for it. So. I mean, because I think that it was pretty clear that this season they were using him sparingly. I think we presumed because of COVID restrictions, and he was no spring chicken. But so he didn't have a huge major role this season. So I think I think they'll address it at some point.
I know it's going to be so sad.
So Tony. You did some. Speaking of
finales,
season finales, you had the season finale of Big City Greens.
Yeah, it was surprisingly emotional. I thought. Did you watch them? I know sometimes you watch them too. There was an episode. Well, there's always 2 episodes in an episode, if that makes sense. But yes, there's 2, and the first one was called Cousin Jilly, which we find out at very early on in the episode. They find a photo album, and Cricket goes, "Oh, remember Cousin Jilly?" And Tilly immediately looks to Saxon, her friend, and says, "Oh, he still hasn't figured it out," because it's basically Tilly just wearing sunglasses, and she's the cool cousin from the other side, just because Cricket was getting bored in the country growing up, so they would do cool, new, fun games. So he writes a letter to her, basically saying, come visit. And she shows up at the door in character immediately before he even sends out the letter and says, "My cool cousin sense was tingling." And they, go on all these fun adventures in Big City. He's showing her around, but then starts to process, why aren't you and Tilly ever together? And he thinks it's because they don't get along. And this whole thing plays out where she's staying in character but going, and it involves blankets and a mirror, and she's arguing with the mirror in the dark, and Cricket basically says, "No, you two need to hug and make up now, like be friends, you're family." And as she goes to hug, knocks over the mirror, and Cricket has probably my favorite reaction to any kind of thing like that in that trope we've seen so many times, and just goes, what am I seeing? What have I seen? What am I seeing? And just keeps stuttering and stammering like that. And I thought that was hilarious. But he's upset, obviously, because he's been fooled for how many years of his life. And at the end, they kiss and make up essentially, and they read and Cricket reads the letter basically saying, "Thanks for being there as I grew up," and giving me, basically it's his ode to Cousin Jilly, it's really Tilly, and they play it as over a montage, and it kind of channeled Onward, if you've seen Onward, where like at the end it's just kind of like, oh, we grew up together, that idea. And it was surprisingly sweet and nice for that outlandish, wacky show, in my opinion. And then the next episode was Gloria's Cafe, where she's trying to get a loan to open up her own coffee shop and doesn't succeed immediately. And then her and Cricket and Tilly find out that the cafe next door that's been closed for how long, has become so many different things in this season alone, is still unlocked. So they run an illegal cafe out of it. And the grandma Alice, is saying, "No, you can't run a business." So Gloria puts on this whole con, like this is a successful business. She got the loan. It's just what the hipsters do. But Officer Keys is coming around, and he sees a new cafe and just needs some coffee to get through his shift. And it becomes the detective crime mystery of the century. And they try and pawn off all the customers of the cafe as ghosts, but then he disguises himself as a hipster and is allowed access to the cafe. And here's Gloria eventually, cave to the pressure and give up and say, "I never got the loan. This is an illegal cafe. I was going to use the profits to actually make my own legally run cafe." And she gets arrested and goes to jail. And all the money she made was just enough to cover her fines. And she comes home, and Grandma's waiting for her on the doorstep. And she goes, "Yes, I know you're going to tell me I was wrong and I did it all bad and I don't know what I'm doing." And Grandma goes, "No, you broke the law to get what you wanted. You were very driven," and like basically praises her for everything she did, and says she has money from her retirement and will loan it to her and become like an investment partner. And they ended up buying the cafe next door. And that's how the season ends. So I'm pretty sure, and even Cricket goes, "Cricket and Gloria working together again. Can't mess with a formula that works." So I think we're going to see more of that next season. But it was just a sweet, because you think Grandma's going to come just chew out Gloria, who's been living with them for most of the season, because Cricket cost her 2 jobs already, and I think a few more actually. But so yeah, I'm excited to see what happens next.
So speaking of not being able to get a loan, that was a plot point in another show, The Falcon and Winter Soldier. So Becca, How was last week's episode?
I know. I'm glad we're talking about last week's because I was like, I don't know that I could put something together for this week. I'm sure all of us have watched it. It was my favorite episode so far. It begins with this commercial about the Global Repatriation Council that is just trying to help people acclimate back to being back after the blip or snap or whatever you call it, and that's kind of the inspiration for the Flag Smashers, just the way that they are being treated, and they're not quite being. How do I want to put this? That's their inspiration to try to make a better world for themselves because the GRC isn't quite taking care of them the way they should. So we've got the new Captain America, John Walker, chasing after the leader of Flag Smashers, Carly Morgenthau, who's also happened to steal some super soldier serum. And then you've got Bucky and Sam going to find Zemo, who's being held in Berlin, and he knows a lot about the super soldier program, so they want to break him out, which they do. Let's see. Then the Zemo and Bucky and Sam head to Madripoor, which is a fictional country where it's, I don't know, crime. There's a high town and a low town, and low town is where there's some criminal activity, and it's the place to go to get some information. So
Scum and villainy.
Scum and villainy. There you go. Thank you. Yes. So in Madripoor, they go to a bar and they're looking for somebody named Selby, who is going to give them information about this Dr. Wilfred Nagel, who has found a way to recreate the super soldier serum. And while they're there, Selby gets killed by Sharon Carter. So if you'd been watching any of the other Captain America films, she was in Civil War and Winter Soldier. So she's living there now, and she can't go back to the United States because she broke the law. She broke the Sokovia Accords. So she's kind of got her own little business there in Madripoor, and she's helping these guys find Dr. Nagel. And let's see. Sorry, I'm looking over my notes. But yeah, there's they go and talk to the doctor, who basically says that Kari stole the super soldier serum, and that she had then reached out to him to help her heal somebody, or heal somebody named Danya Madonna. Am I saying that right? I don't remember. Anyway, while they're there talking to the doctor, he gives them some information that they need, and Zemo decides to kill him. And meanwhile, Sharon is outside fighting off all of these bounty hunters who are coming to find the guys because of the death of Selby. So lots of stuff going on, lots of action. Zemo, we're not quite sure where his allegiance lies and what he's doing, but he does end up helping them out, and then helping them further chase down Carly, who is believed to be in Latvia. And then while they're there, Bucky finds some of those kimono beads from Wakanda. So he tells the guys, "I'm going to go for a walk," and heads off. And we see one of the Dora Milaje, Io, and she's there, and she says, "Hey, we're here for Zemo." So it was a fun surprise to have them turn up. It was a very intense and exciting episode. Lots of action, more violence than we're kind of used to seeing on Disney Plus, but it was a good storyline and led into this week's episode. So
I was reading a recap on a site, and they talked about how the action takes place in Latvia, which is where Doctor Doom is from, because they didn't realize the difference between Latvia, the real country, and Latveria, the fictional kingdom ruled by Doctor Doom.
See, now I didn't even think about that. But yes, okay, yeah, there. Yeah. Yes, Tony.
I'm confused. So we don't know if a non-alcoholic beer is villainous or heroic.
What did I say?
Zemo?
Oh.
Zima?
Right?
Beer.
Oh, Zima. I see. Okay. All right.
And it is alcoholic.
Why am I
It is
not
wrong on multiple
surprised?
levels.
Why am I not surprised that Tony's a Zima fan?
I'm not a Zima fan at all.
Wasn't that
It's
gone?
delicious.
What?
It was gone long before I could drink. Yeah. Legally.
I was going to say. But yeah, I'm really, really enjoying Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And it's nice to be able to spend time with Sam and Bucky beyond the Avengers movies or the Captain America movies where they don't get to do as much. So
I just found out they were like good buddies in real life too. I think that's cool. I think that always works well. It translates. Does that translate well on the show? I haven't watched it yet. I need to.
Oh,
don't yell at me.
Yeah. Did you watch WandaVision? Oh, Tony.
It's my favorite R&B group.
I know enough to get by.
Do you have Disney Plus?
Yes, I do. I do.
Yeah, I was going to say, we might need to help him with that.
Ask me what I watch on Disney Plus. It's not.
What do you watch on Disney Plus?
I've been watching Inside Pixar lately. That's fun.
Oh.
Shorter than I thought it'd be.
Yeah, but I thought that was a good run. I mean, I know it's not on topic, but I thought the Christella ones are fun.
Yeah. I like the one where you see like the grounds. With the facility operations manager or whatever her title was. I like that one a lot. That was cool.
So I'm going to talk about this week's episode of Mighty Ducks Game Changers. This is all sort of about like finding coachiness. So, the kid's mom is the coach of the Don't Bothers, which is like the rejects from the Mighty Ducks team that have become all like serious and not very Mighty Ducksy. And so she goes in and she starts by creating like a trust circle, and like she has to say how they feel on the outside and how they feel on the inside. And so the best part of that there's like this sort of good-looking Mighty Duck, if you were 12, like, I mean, no, not in a creepy way, but
like the one that when Casper became the real boy and all the girls gushed back then. That one, right, that kind of. Okay, go on.
And so the one that's like the podcaster, the kind of fun one is, it goes like, so on the inside I'm this, I mean the outside I'm blah 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 blah, and then she goes, well, what about on the inside? She goes, on the inside I'm that guy, maybe a bit taller, which was just funny because like in the inside he's this hot for a 12-year-old guy. Awkwardly moving along. So they end up not having any equipment. So she bumps into Coach Bombay late at night, who's practicing hockey despite the fact he says he hates hockey. And he says
that means he doesn't hate hockey.
So he says the Mighty Ducks have all this like extra equipment and lost and found. So they kind of distract the guard. And once again, like the hot 12-year-old distracts the guard, and then they go in and they I guess the main kid finds his lucky stick from beyond, and so they have equipment. It's that sort of typical Bad News Bears type of action scene, I guess. And but in the end, they realize that the actual coach of the team is actually her son, who's actually like putting him through drills and stuff. And despite the fact he's disappointed in his mom as a coach, he actually has the skills to do it. And that's sort of where we leave it.
I haven't watched any of the Mighty Ducks Game Changers yet, but is it like a great departure from the films, or
no, not in the slightest.
No, it sounds like a parallel to it.
It is not bold and different. It is very much comfort food. There's Big Shot, which is like the basketball show that starts next week. And we can't really super talk about it. That one's much more of like a comedy drama where there's a little bit more to it. This is just fun. It's not quite Disney Channel, but it's more Alf style. It's like
sure.
It's definitely comfort food. I enjoy it very much, but it's not like anything. It's not like kind of like how DuckTales, when they redid it, it definitely kind of added some octane to it, like it made it more powered. This did not. This is just Mighty Ducks. You know where it's going. You don't see the first episode and be like, I wonder where they're going to take this.
You're like, we can plot this out on our own, but it's fun to watch.
So next, why don't we talk about Amphibia?
Why don't we? Big City Green, I watch both of them on the same day, and one will always overshadow the other. No matter, it could go either way. But this week it was definitely Big City Greens that overshadowed Amphibia this week. And it was two stories, basically referring to things that have happened in the past on Amphibia. The first half, we see Mayor Toadstool get offered a new job as like the new head of Toad Tower, which I guess was previously destroyed. Things I still need to. I find myself wikiing each time I watch this show. Like, okay, what happened here? And then so he gets offered this job, but he has a new fondness for oh my gosh, what's the name of the town? It just flew out of my head. Not Amphibia, that's the name of the world.
Right. It's like
Newton, whatever.
Yeah.
Wherever they are. And Mayor Toadstool and all them, he's attached to it now, and he loves it too much and is trying not to leave it, even though he has this new job that'll offer him a whole bunch of money. So he decides to scheme and do a bad job, so he is not approved for the job, and at Ant's advice, and all these schemes backfire and make him look better than he's trying to be, and another trope. And eventually the town is overrun by Bog and his cronies, who are basically willing to burn the town down until they get their money. And the little agent that comes to recruit the mayor sees that these people are ruthless and cutthroat and offers them the job instead. So problem solved. Next clip we see, or the next episode, we see Maddie and her three sisters, and Marcy is now in town and kind of learning everything, and Maddie's practicing witchcraft, but she keeps getting annoyed by her three sisters, and basically tells them, why won't you just grow up? So the three sisters steal Maddie's spell book and cast a spell on them to grow up, which is miscast, and they just get bigger and bigger and bigger. And I don't know why these people still live in this town, because it's destroyed twice a week, every week. It doesn't make sense. Move away. But these three sisters get bigger and bigger and bigger and start playing hide and seek in the town, city, whatever you want, village, destroying it all. And Maddie puts a spell on herself, so she gets bigger and says, I was wrong, and does their favorite thing, which is juggling the three of them. And so you have these giant towering toads over the village juggling each other. And then the Marcy, who is now her witch apprentice, because she's trying to learn more about everything going on, and is a big fan of a Harry Potter knockoff book that's relevant to Amphibia. It talks about her fandom for those and decides to be her apprentice, and she whips up 4 antidotes, so they'll all shrink again before the three sisters get so big that they just explode. And they do, and they make up, and she realizes, I need to spend more time with my sisters. Aw, sweet. End of episode. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, so because starting next week you only have Amphibia, so
I know. Sad day. I only have Amphibia until something else comes out later in July.
So it's a chance to catch up on all you missed and maybe
What's in early
discover.
Monsters at Work.
Oh, that's right.
I thought there was something else too, but we'll see. But yes,
I like how he's already thinking about July. Like, it must be nice in a pandemic to be able to look out that far.
That's if we want to get into psychosis with Tony. I never live in the moment. I'm always in the future or in the past. So
So basically, your life is Disneyland.
Yeah, but except in terms of Disneyland, I'm always stuck in the past. We've always attested to that.
Here you leave Tony's psychosis and enter the world of yesterday, tomorrow. Are you ever in fantasy?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you're just Disneyland.
Yeah.
You're not DCA where it's like based on the real world. You've been placemaked.
Okay.
I mean, that's pretty good, right? Like Disneyland's pretty good.
Some say that.
And DCA could never live up to Disneyland.
I don't think it's trying.
Anyway,
that's
back
not
to
DCA.
back to television shows.
Back to television.
Your shirt, Rebecca.
Yeah. This is actually
Star Wars?
a Star Wars shirt. Yes, as you can see here with the Rebel logo or the Rebel logo. But I thought we're talking about Rebel today, so why not totally be on brand? And I can pretend I got merchandise before anybody.
Yeah, you don't know how many licensees are waiting to take care of like all the stuff from Rebel, like the Katie Seagal, Hasbro, Legends line.
Is there going to be a Rebel Funko? That actually might happen. Let's be real.
I mean, I would find it very enjoyable for somebody to put together like some product, even if you can't buy it. But I would find that humorous, but probably not worth anybody's time. This is a new show on ABC called Rebel, and I think it's kind of based on the life of the real Erin Brockovich. And Katie Seagal plays Rebel, but her actual name is Annie, and then she uses all three of her husbands, 2 ex-husbands, and she's currently married, all 3 of their names. So she's Annie, Flynn, Ray, Bello. The episode starts with her like crashing this banquet for the Stonemore Medical Corporation, and she walks up to the CEO and she's talking to him, and he's like, "Why do I recognize you?" And she's like, "Oh, we haven't met, but we've been emailing." So she's trying to get the corporation to admit to or basically fix this mechanical heart valve that has led to autoimmune disease in patients. And so he's like, "Get out." He's like, "You don't need to be here. We're not doing this." And then she sends in all of these like protesters, also patients who have had the ill effects of this heart valve. And she's there with her daughter, Ziggy, and her daughter's like, "Oh, you're going to get arrested." She's like, "Yeah, I know the drill." So she starts taking off her jewelry and tells her like, "Oh, make sure you call your father, then call this person, then call our friend, and then, she gets arrested. And while she's in jail, waiting for her bail to post, she meets a woman, Naomi Lee, who has signs of abuse. Like there's bruises on her, and she's in jail for having stabbed her husband in self-defense. So Annie, Rebel, is like, "Talk to my daughter, Cassidy. She'll work for you pro bono. She'll help you get away from your husband." Turns out Rebel's ex-husband is a cop, so he's the one who comes and lets her out. Her daughter Cassidy then comes to get her and says, "Mom, no attorney's going to take your case." And then she goes and confronts the lawyer who her daughter works for, who's Andy Garcia, and his wife Sharon had died from one of these autoimmune diseases from this heart valve thing. So it's kind of everybody's all connected. We find out Rebel is married to John Corbett's character Grady, and they have a kid. She has whose name is Ziggy. Ziggy was the one who was there at the banquet. And then we find out she also has another child, Nate, with the cop. So she's got 3 kids, one with each husband. Yeah.
Did you recognize Nate?
I did not. Who is he?
I'll pull it up.
I have a question in the meantime.
It's one of these 2.
Oh my goodness. The dog grew up to turn into such a nice looking man. Airbud. Okay. I did not know. I didn't even realize that. Kyle, did you notice that?
But not the dog.
Oh, okay.
The dog from Airbud grew up to be Comet from Full House.
Oh, really? Aw.
Was it on this show that we recognized someone from Falcon and Winter Soldier, though? Or was that something else? That might have been Home Economics.
Well, the daughter Ziggy was one of she played Gert in the
Runaways.
not Freeform.
Hulu's
Freeform
Runaways.
was, yes, Hulu's Runaways. So I was like, she looks so familiar. I don't know why. Then I looked her up. I was like, oh, I'm missing the purple hair and the glasses. There we go.
Was it the first of Rebel's husbands? That was the one that sold women's shoes?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I wasn't paying that.
It's a Married with Children reference. Katie Seagal.
Oh, yes, of course. See, now I really know her from Lost and from Futurama, and I love Leela. My car was named Leela. So
Nice.
I like Katie Seagal.
Did you happen to catch the name of her second husband?
Benji. Yeah. So Benji's Cassidy's dad, and I think he is also a lawyer. He wants Cassidy to work for him, but she's kind of seems to be enjoying doing this, like, work for people who would otherwise not be able to, defend themselves in some of these more dangerous corporate schemes. Yes.
Prediction.
Yeah.
At some point, Cassidy will be a lawyer against her father.
Oh, I could see that. I could definitely, I could see that.
I don't know if I'm spoiling a screener or anything, based on Benji's reaction.
I don't know.
But that's, as a fan of television writing and film writing, I promise you that's going to happen soon. Anyway.
No, you're good. You're good. Ziggy we find out she's adopted. She's in AA and recently out of rehab. She's the child of Rebel and Grady, John Corbett's character. So she's, I'm trying to think, where am I going with this?
So can I draw a family tree? Help me out.
Right. There's a lot.
Yeah, I know. No, there were so many people. I'm like, I wrote down as much as I could. Nate, the son, he's a doctor. He's an OB/GYN, and Rebel wants him to start a study to confirm that people who have the heart valves implanted then wound up with the autoimmune disease, because Andy Garcia's character Cruz won't be able to take a case like this without some type of proof. So Rebel, she's got all of these not weird, but she's very much like, she'll go and talk to people, get people to join her, and then she'll go and they go to talk to Cruz, Andy Garcia's character. And he's like, I'm not dealing with you right now. She's like, that's okay, we'll wait. And then just everybody sits down on the floor in the lobby. All these people who have a case against the medical company. So yeah, that's kind of the way she operates. Let's see, the other two important things. At a surprise party for Grady, the other ex-husbands are there, the kids are there, and yeah, it's weird because they're kind of like all one happy family, but not quite. Finds out that he's actually consulting a divorce lawyer. He denies it, but Ziggy's like, no, I saw the divorce papers in your bag. So Rebel's possibly getting divorced from her third husband. We will see. And then Nate ends up deciding to start the study to take the case to Cruz so that they can hopefully get this company to own up to their faulty product.
So I have a couple questions.
Yeah, I know. I'm all over the place.
No. Not one is when every time they said Ziggy, did you think of this guy?
Yeah. No, I didn't, but that is the only other Ziggy I know. I think
Ziggy
they referenced
Stardust.
Well, yeah, but
Ziggy Marley.
I didn't know. I was a Ziggy cartoon character kid.
Is your other question, why is this show obsessed with dog movies between Air Bud and Benji?
So I watched. So this is a little inside baseball. So I watched the screener because I was trying to see who we should assign it to and like how we should handle it. And when I watched it, Andy Garcia's wife passed away due to a heart attack, and he would always look at her picture, or what I thought was her picture, and I couldn't understand why instead of having a picture of his wife, he just always had this green looking thing in the picture frame. And it wasn't until the third time I realized, oh no, that's really in post they're gonna put it in. So because I was like, Well, because like he had the necklace hanging over it, so I was like, he put like a green felt background on like, and then I realized it was just a green screen.
Well, see, when we watched the screener for Home Economics, they put a big red dot on the screen whenever there was temporary effects or temporary voiceover or whatever, so that you wouldn't make that mistake. I guess.
Yeah, I've seen that before, but they didn't do that for Rebel. And the first
How
episode,
rebellious of them.
I think the first episode, like, it was pretty much done except that. Like, I didn't notice anything weird. The second episode, in the sort of establishing shots, it was like it was a who's who of image licensees. You had like Getty Images, Shutterstock, and it was funny.
Yeah, but I enjoyed the show. I mean, it's a network drama. I will definitely be watching another episode or two, and we'll see from there whether or not I'm gonna add it to our TV lineup. But it was a good start, I think.
I really liked it. I think it was the strength of the actors. I mean, you have a great lineup there. I mean, some are well known, some are not, but it's because it's a big family. You just get a lot of great interactions.
Katie Seagal, Andy Garcia, kid from Air Bud.
Yeah. And don't forget John Corbett, who I think is famous, isn't he?
I
know. Sadly, I know him most from the movie Serendipity. Moving on.
Oh, wasn't he in? Go ahead,
Beck.
No.
Oh, I was going to say, I thought it was interesting that Andy Garcia is in it because he dates
Julia Roberts.
Julia Roberts in Ocean's 11, and Julia Roberts played Erin Brockovich in Erin Brockovich.
It was also two screeners I watched back to back that featured Adam Arkin.
Okay. What was the other one?
Big Shot.
Had to be a big shot.
Oh, that was in my head all day yesterday. All day.
John Corbett was also in Volcano.
Ah.
Not to be confused with Dante's Peak.
Wasn't he the husband in My Big Fat Greek Wedding?
Yes. Yeah.
So, and I think he was on Sex and the City. I think he was one of the.
I think that's what he's most known for.
Boyfriends. So yeah.
Yep. So yeah, I'm old enough to watch that show, but anyway, so that's the 6 shows we watched this week. What's everyone excited for most next week? What about you, Becca?
Probably Rebel again.
Kyle?
I'm not sure because American Housewife is over. That was a good finale if you haven't seen it yet. So I guess I'm kind of interested. The Connors did a 1-hour episode this week. Interested to see where some of those storylines go.
Especially the one storyline with Katie Seagal.
Yeah, she's.
I forgot she was on that show too.
Yeah.
Tony?
Well, I guess I'm Amphibia because the one I'm looking forward to usually is not there.
I'm going to go Big Shot. The screener's just good, but I'm so excited to just watch it again. We were given 3 episodes, and I blew through them all in one night, stayed up late. It was a bad idea. But
how long are they?
What's that?
How
About
long
an hour. A little less than an hour. It's not, like maybe 45 minutes, 48 minutes, something like that.
We did watch all 3 of the home economics screeners, and I was like, "This is fun." And I don't know if it's because I have siblings, adult siblings now, so it's like, "Oh, hey, this is kind of somewhat like like my life."
Can we talk about home economics for a second?
Sure.
I haven't watched it, but I saw it's got Topher Grace and then a brother, like an older brother or a brother adult figure. Where do I know him from?
I don't remember. I was looking at his IMDb, and he's been in. I think he was in some Netflix show.
Because I was like, "Is this the kid from Glee?" Well, no, it's not that kid.
No, not Glee. I don't remember.
The older brother?
Well, he's actually the youngest.
He's one of the brothers, but yeah, the not Topher Grace one.
22 Jump Street?
Maybe.
Oh, that.
American Vandal?
Didn't watch that.
Super Trooper. Oh, he's guest starred in a lot of things. Modern Family. He was in Stuber. He always plays like a dumb jock. I haven't seen Home Economics. I don't know what he plays in that, but that's pretty cool.
He's an investment bro, kind of.
So a bro. All right.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, he even stars in a show called The Real Bros of Simi Valley.
So he's typecast.
So, but, Marshall jumps in. I don't know why he's not on the show today. American Vandal is where you know him from, and Vine. Oh, like, was he a Vine star? I'm pretty sure I don't know anyone from Vine because I'm pretty sure I never opened Vine.
I've never opened Vine.
I'm also not a millennial like you, Marshall. Anyway, join us in about 2 hours and 15 minutes for Star Wars Headlines with Rebecca and Mike. And we'll be back next week for LPTV Club. Our shows next week are obviously Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Mighty Ducks Game Changers, Home Economics. Everything's going to be okay. The Simpsons.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Right, so thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Farewell.